Do you like my title? I hate it. Whether you do or you don't, it's an accurate one. This was the build that got the first Awakener kill across all leagues. It was top 5 on the softcore ladder until I went to sleep. Anyone playing on softcore trade would have seen the name in lights all day. It is not only the best bosser early on, as evidenced by the XP push, it's also one of the most survivable and fastest mappers you can play on a league start. It takes virtually no budget to get going, and before you go into the cold version and the March of the Legion version of this build, you can just play it as a Fizz Seismic Trapper. Basically, March of the Legion is a pair of boots that turns your permanent auras into temporary ones. But as a result, they no longer reserve your mana permanently. So basically, you toggle this aura on, whatever it may be, and it reserves your aura temporarily. And then after, the aura effect still lasts, but then your mana becomes unreserved again. What this means is that it enables Supreme Ego, which gives you 50% more aura effect on yourself. So in my build, I'm running Hatred, Grace, Haste, and Zealotry as my 4 auras. And I'm also running a Skitterbot as a permanent aura. So normally this wouldn't be possible, but this is made possible because of March of the Legion. And it's also scaled even further by aura clusters on the tree, aura effect in general, and most importantly for this build, there's a new mastery on the tree in the aura effect clusters that gives you skill effect duration, 50% increased, on any auras. Furthermore, the skill effect duration nodes will give 10% more skill effect duration now. Combine this with the fact that Seismic Trap actually scales off of skill effect duration, and you begin to understand why I went for this setup for my league start. Just to give you a sense of how strong this build was, this was my gear as I killed Awakener. I have this wand which has multi on it and almost nothing else. So an alteration craft would have been better. This helmet, which I found probably around Act 5. This shield, which was pretty good. I found this in maps. This thing, which I also found in maps, but doesn't give me multi, which is the one thing I want, and has no anointment. I found this ring in Act 3, and I found this ring right before Tier 1 maps. And finally, my belt is also from Act 5. So all of my rares are complete shit. More importantly, my carcass track is on a 5 link, but this doesn't matter anyway this league because of tainted fusings and, easy access to 6 links. And then finally, Rim Sorrows were 1 chaos on day 1, and March of the Legion right now, I think they're sitting around 5 chaos, but when I bought this on day 1, I sniped the first one on the market and just paid an Exalt upfront for it. I didn't really want to negotiate prices, and I just wanted this right away. You'll also notice that these pieces of gear are lacking crafted mods. And the reason why is because every single map, I kept forgetting, and then someone would remind me, and I'd be thinking, well, I'm going to replace this gear anyway, pretty much by next map. I'll find something better. And normally I would have, except for the fact that I never needed more power. That's how strong this build is. Really all you need is 1, 2, and 3. The path of building link included has pretty much most of the details for a hypothetical respec of this build into Brittle. There are no phase transitions or anything about this build because I was freestyling the whole way. And if you need this sort of handholding, this build probably isn't for you. It's a fairly difficult build to play. It has a really active playstyle, and it also takes a lot of attention to make sure you're not pressing your auras too often, you don't press your auras too quickly, but at the end of the day, making sure your auras are always still running. Because without running Hatred and Zealotry, your damage will go down from 950k average hit to about 300k average hit. It is a big portion of how this build scales. So one final thing, I would have loved to recommend this specific build for anyone who wants to do a really powerful league start. It can do everything on an actual shoestring budget, but ultimately it's a build that scales with player skill and player attention. And fundamentally, Path of Exile is a game about having fun. What I'm learning increasingly is that a lot of players don't really care about how difficult their acts are, or how hard it is for their build to scale into serious, or whether or not they can do the endgame on day 1. They're happy to play a more passive or enjoyable playstyle or whatever archetype they want. And that's great. The thing is, for me, power is fun.